Take some questions from the media. I've got a list here. Harry from the BBC first, please.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. Harry Farley from BBC News. The speed of the decline in your popularity is historically unprecedented. Isn't this speech today an admission that you have failed and Nigel Farage understands voters better than you?
Kier Starmer's premiership is now at 13% approval rating, the lowest approval rating of any Prime Minister in recorded history.
I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who's a friend as well as a...
We wouldn't call Jeremy Corbyn a friend.
No.
We have to make the case for freedom of movement.
We don't want open borders. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back. I was not saying that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel or medicine.
Cutting off power, cutting off water.
Well, I think that Israel does have that. Wounded by the media, the Sun in this city, are hurt for this city. And I certainly won't be giving any interviews to the Sun during the course of this campaign.
Can you guarantee that under your leadership, the 2019 Labour commitments to nationalise water, energy, rail, the Royal Mail, they'll all be in Labour's next election manifesto?
I've made that commitment.
Did you write an article for some newspaper the other day? Surely that's not going to gain you any support across the North West.
Would you write for them again, Sir Kier?
I would.
Will you nationalise the big six energy companies, yes or no?
No.
No, you will not.
The Home Secretary was the wrong decision, and I think it was a rushed decision.
2019, you said stripping her of her British citizenship was the wrong decision. She's lost her appeal to regain it. Should she be allowed to appeal again? Should she be allowed back here in order to face justice in the UK?
I think the court decision yesterday is the right decision. I'm really pleased to be here this morning supporting the staff at McDonald's who are on strike. The Labour Party in opposition needs to be the Labour Party in power, and a government doesn't go on picket lines. A government tries to resolve... Air quality, climate change is the issue of our time, and as the Extinction Rebellion protest showed us this week, the next generation are not going to forgive us if we don't take action. I think they're wrong. I think their action is wrong.
We've taken that to mean nonsense as well. What a load of bollocks. It's a real English word. What a load of bollocks. Like pointless... someone's talking shit or your team played awfully. What a load of bollocks that was. It's a derogatory term. It's just rubbish, nonsense, awful, load of bollocks. But it does come from the slang word for testicles. So you do the math. I could just be shouting into the void. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. It's just as good for me. Or you haven't. I've got it out of my system. Right.
He just betrayed Britain's fishermen. He sold them out to the European Union. He's concluded a Swiss-style agreement with the European Union, which effectively, by one man, by the fiat of one Prime Minister, has reversed the decision of 17.4 million people in the Brexit referendum in 2016. It is an extraordinary thing that that wasn't raised meaningfully in today's Parliament either. Nigel Farage wasn't even there. He's out of the country on a pre-planned holiday when Kier Starmer took Britain back into the European Union. And he wants us to rejoice that in certain European countries we'll now be allowed to go through the e-gates. I don't know about you. I found it a small price to pay for Britain's independence. If only we'd used it. If only we'd used that independence to have a different economic policy, to have a different policy on all manner of things, including foreign affairs, if you'll forgive the pun. But we never used it. And that's down largely to the British Conservative Party. But if Kier Starmer, who has now given free movement of labour to all European Union citizens aged between 19 and 32 and their families. So we're back to the Polish baristas, we're back to the Slovak carpenters, we are back to our young people competing for jobs with a flood of young Eastern European, Central European labour. Now, you may want that. I don't myself. I want British carpenters and British baristas. But you may want that, in which case that should have been in the manifesto that Kier Starmer stood for election on. If we're going to reverse Brexit, there will have to be another referendum before we can rejoin the European Union, which we have now in a peculiar and creeping semi-detached way now begun to do. So Kier Starmer has betrayed our fishermen, like he betrayed our old age pensioners, like he betrayed the 1950s women, the so-called WASPy women, like he betrayed Britain's farmers, like he betrayed all those who thought that the Kier Starmer who wanted to ban Israel from FIFA in 2014, and I was in the hall when he stood in front of a banner, kick Israel out of FIFA, and he gave a stirring speech about the atrocities being committed by Israel in Gaza right then and there in 2014. Few of us knew that the day would come when he would declare himself, without qualification, a supporter of Israel, without qualification, a supporter of the nationalist ideology of Zionism, before he would say that Israel had a right to cut off food, water, medicine, and electricity from 2.2 million people in the Gaza Strip. Of course, in the last couple of days, there's a coordinated effort in Paris, in Canada, in London, to distance themselves, to wash their hands of the genocide, of the Holocaust, which is currently, this minute, taking place in Gaza. But it's all a show.
I've always got like 3 full-time jobs. I'm doing a world tour. I'm making a new show for Netflix, which is taking a year because it's an animation. Fucking hell, it takes so long. And I'm trying to make Dutch Barn a global brand. I thought that would be, oh, dabble with that. No, we're all the fucking time. I'm getting emails from all, I've got like 3 bosses. Except I'm in charge, so it's like, it's even worse. I bet it's like having triplets. They're all doing shit at the same time. So yeah, I am working all the time, but I try and keep my evenings free when I'm not gigging. In fact, that annoys me when oh my God, I love doing the warm-ups when I was doing like 4 o'clock gigs. Home for the evening. Oh, I do like to try and finish work sort of 6 o'clock. You still dabble, you're still making notes, you're still doing stuff, but you're in your pajamas, you know what I mean? Having a drink, watching Netflix. But yeah, I don't think I've had a holiday for about 40 years. No, about 30 years. Oh.
I'll tell you what, I happen to know that Labour MPs care about one thing above all else, and that is to remain Labour MPs. If these Labour MPs are not reading this writing on the wall and are not preparing to knife Starmer in the back as they all, with Starmer, knifed Corbyn in the back, I'll be surprised. And I'll be more than surprised if Kier Starmer sees the end of the summer in 10 Downing Street.